Your mind can create an entire disaster without anything actually happening. One unanswered message becomes rejection. One mistake becomes failure. One uncertain future becomes catastrophe. And suddenly you're suffering from events that haven't even happened. Marcus Aurelius had a brutally simple solution: return to what is real. Not what might happen, not what someone might think, not what your imagination is predicting. What is actually happening right now? Overthinking feels productive. That's what makes it dangerous. You're sitting there thinking, analyzing, replaying, predicting, examining every possibility. And because your brain is active, you feel like you're doing something useful. But often, you're not solving the problem. You're simply creating more versions of it. Someone doesn't answer your message. You think, maybe they're angry. Then, maybe I said something wrong. Then, maybe they don't like me anymore. Then, maybe I've ruined the relationship. Nothing happened except one unanswered message, but your mind has already created a disaster. This is why Marcus Aurelius's approach is so powerful. Return to reality. Start with one question: what do I actually know? Not what do I fear? Not what do I predict? What do I know? If someone hasn't replied, that's the fact. Everything else is interpretation, and interpretation can be useful, but it must be recognized as interpretation. This distinction can save you enormous mental energy. The first rule: separate facts from stories. Let's say your manager sends, "Come see me tomorrow." That's all you know. But your brain might immediately say, "I'm getting fired. They hate my work. I've ruined everything. Now you've spent the entire night suffering." But none of those things happened. Your brain simply filled uncertainty with fear. So whenever you catch yourself spiraling, write 2 columns: facts, assumptions. You'll often discover that your assumptions are much larger than your facts. The second rule: ask what you control. This is one of the central ideas of Stoic thinking. You cannot control everything. You cannot control another person's thoughts. You cannot control whether someone likes you. You cannot control the past. You cannot control tomorrow. You cannot control every outcome. But you can control your next action. So when your mind asks, "What if this goes wrong?" ask, "What can I do right now?" That question transforms anxiety into action. Maybe you can prepare, maybe you can communicate, maybe you can study, maybe you can save money, maybe you can apologize, maybe you can do nothing because there is genuinely nothing to do yet. And if there's nothing to do, stop thinking. Wait, the third rule: don't solve imaginary problems. Preparation is useful. Obsessing isn't. Imagine you're preparing for an important presentation. You practice, you prepare notes, you anticipate questions. That's preparation. But if you spend 6 hours imagining every possible way you'll embarrass yourself, that's not preparation. That's mental punishment. You don't need to experience a future disaster before it happens. If something happens, you'll deal with it then. Your mind may say, "But I need to think about every possibility." No, you need to think about the possibilities that actually require action. Everything else is noise. The fourth rule: stop demanding certainty. Overthinkers often want one thing: certainty. They want to know exactly what will happen, exactly what someone thinks, exactly which decision is correct, exactly how the future will unfold. But life doesn't offer that. You can make the best decision available with incomplete information. Then adjust. This is how adults actually navigate reality. You don't need certainty. You need enough clarity to take the next step. The fifth rule: don't replay conversations endlessly. We've all done it. Someone says something. Hours later, you're still thinking, "I should have said this. Why did I say that?" What did they mean? What if I had responded differently? Reflection can be useful, but there comes a point where you're no longer learning, you're rehearsing. Ask, is there anything I can change now? If yes, act. If no, release it. You cannot edit yesterday's conversation by replaying it 100 times. The sixth rule, return to the present. Your body is here, but your mind is often somewhere else. Tomorrow, next month, 5 years from now, or 5 years ago. Bring it back, look around. What is actually happening? What task is in front of you? What can you hear? What can you see? What needs to be done? Do that. If you're eating, eat. If you're walking, walk. If you're working, work. If you're talking to someone, listen. Presence isn't mystical. It's attention. And attention can be trained. The seventh rule, give your mind a container. If you have something important to think about, schedule time for it. Say, I'll think about this at 7 p.m. for 20 minutes. Then, write down the thought and return to your work. This teaches your brain, this issue isn't being ignored, it has a place. You don't need to think about the same problem all day. And finally, remember that thoughts aren't commands. Your mind will produce thoughts. Some useful, some ridiculous, some frightening, some completely random. You don't have to obey every one. A thought says, what if everyone hates me? You can answer, that's a thought, not a fact. A thought says, what if I fail? You can answer, then I'll deal with failure if it happens. A thought says, I need to solve this right now. You can ask, do I? This is how you create distance. And that distance is freedom. Marcus Aurelius understood that the mind can become its own source of suffering when judgment runs unchecked. So don't believe everything your mind tells you. Examine it. Separate facts from stories. Separate control from fantasy. Separate preparation from worry. And return to the present. The next time you catch yourself overthinking, stop, take a breath, ask 3 questions. What do I know? What can I control? What can I do next? Then do that. Not tomorrow, not after another hour of thinking. Now, because the future doesn't need your fear, it needs your preparation. The past doesn't need your punishment, it needs your lesson. And the present? The present needs your attention. Give it that.